Hi. Okay, so we're gonna talk about something else that I've been going through, and you might have go through it too. You might be going through this too. So, the title of this video is "The Art of Letting People Go," and so lately, it has been a major theme in my life to let people go. And so I'm gonna read you something I wrote to myself just like 5 minutes ago. I know that I stay attached beyond my own happiness and desires a lot of time. And this is why I begin to resent those who I allow to stay in my life longer than I want them to. But it is not their fault, it is mine. Okay, so you guys, when it comes to letting people go, there can be a lot of maybe guilt and attachment that is surrounding the situation. So I want to talk about how do you know that you're kind of ready to let someone go in your life? The first thing I would say is to survey how do you feel when you're with this person, and how do you feel when you think about this person, and not let your mind determine it, but actually let your body determine how you feel. So sometimes we say, oh no, but I love them. But in reality, we could be saying that we love them because we want to love them rather than actually loving them or feeling loved by them. So I would ask you, how do you feel when this person comes to mind? And so if this person even came up in this conversation when I'm talking about letting people go, then usually you already have a sign within you or an inkling within you that you might be ready for this person to leave your life. And it could be really scary because sometimes we stay attached to people for a really long time out of loyalty, out of just the fact that the relationship has been around for so long, out of familiarity. And so this could be scary for you to embrace the fact that you actually no longer want to have a relationship with them. And then the next thing I would say is survey the lessons that have been being learned through this relationship. So people don't come into our lives by accident. They are not brought to us by random happenstance. But most of the times that the people in our lives have something to offer us in the form of a lesson, in the form of blessings, in the form of us waking up to ourselves, to our own behaviors, us waking up to the parts of us that are either aggressors or that are constantly victims, us being able to see ourselves in these new lights. So what are the lessons that surrounded this relationship or that are surrounding this relationship? And do you kind of feel like, all right, I get it, I've learned it, and I'm ready to move on? So for me, a lot of my relationships, I was allowing myself to be manipulated because I was feeling compassionate and empathetic for other people's feelings rather than my own. And so I had to learn to set boundaries, and I had to learn to step up for myself and to stand up for myself and realize that just because I love to give love, it doesn't mean that I don't deserve to receive love. And when I felt that I wasn't receiving love in my relationships, I spoke about it. And then I realized, maybe this relationship it doesn't make me feel good anymore. It just doesn't make me feel good. And that is a good enough reason to kind of let something go if you no longer just feel genuinely happy. Because what kind of energy are you bringing to the relationship if you're not happy with the person? And so what happens is if you don't let this relationship go, you're going to constantly get into conflict because your spirit knows that it doesn't want to be there. So now the energy that you bring is the energy of disagreement, the energy of conflict, the energy of resentment. And you start to think that this person is the cause of the problems in your life, when in reality the cause of the problems and these emotions that have you upset is your lack of taking action towards the direction that you really want to be in. So that is another way that you can know that you need to let somebody go. What are these lessons? What are my feelings surrounding them? And then also, when you think about your future, could you imagine a future with this person in it? And if you imagine a future with them in it, are they different? Like, if your future, if you're like, yeah, I want them in my future if they do this, this, and this. Let me tell you something, baby. You can't change nobody. You cannot change nobody. If someone wants to change, they have to want to do it for themselves and on their own accord. So if you're imagining the future and it's a good future if they would only do this, this, and this, then I'm going to tell you now to go ahead and let that illusion go. If you don't want a future with them acting exactly how they act right now, then you need to reevaluate whether or not that's the future you want. Okay, so we cannot imagine the person being different because we don't know if that's ever gonna fucking happen. So if you're miserable now and they never change, that means that in the future you're gonna be miserable because it is not up to them to change. It is up to you to change. So if the future with them seems like, okay, yes, I want them in my future, then you're actually saying, whatever is happening right now, I'm okay with. Keep bringing me some more. But when you imagine the future and you say, you know what, I think that it would be a different future without them, but I am more so prepared to make space for a different future without them, then that's saying, you know what, I'm ready to let this person go. I don't know how this journey is going to unfold, but I do imagine that my future might be a little bit better without them in my life. So think about your future, think about the lessons that you may have been learning, and think about your own feelings and honor yourself. Sometimes you feel guilty for wanting to let people go. I know I do. I feel like I'm being a bad person. I feel like I'm not being loyal and things like that. But then I realize that my loyalty needs to lie to my happiness. And if I am unhappy, I cannot be the best spirit in the world. And so if you are unhappy, you cannot be the best you in the world. And so it's up to you to figure out, is my relationship making me unhappy? Or are my habits and my lack of action making me unhappy? The next thing I would think about is like, what is your attachment? What is your attachment to this person? Why has this relationship had the opportunity to persist as long as it has? Do you guys have children together? Have you guys been friends for so long? You're like, I can't imagine not being friends with them. What's the attachment? Is it like, I loved you then, and now, you know, I'm just trying to get back to that old love? Could it be maybe this is a family member, so it's like, are you even allowed to cut this person off? There could be a lot of questions that come up around you deciding to cut somebody off. So asking, what's the attachment? Why am I hanging on so tight? And that'll help you illuminate the parts in you, like, why am I holding on to something that I dislike? Why am I holding on to something that does not bring me joy? And realizing that you are allowed to like the people in your life. You're allowed to be surrounded by people who show you love and who love you in the ways that you want to be loved. And it's up to you to clear out the people who don't love you the way that you want to be loved, so that new people can come into your life. Oh, this is important. Who are you with this person? Like, are you a smaller version of yourself? Do you feel like you're able to live out loud and laugh and speak about the way that you want to be with them? Are you a bit annoyed when you're with this person? Are you playing small and not really speaking up for yourself when you're with this person? Are you allowing this person to dominate you and take over and kind of take your power or direct your life? Are you allowing someone else to lead you in a way that you don't really want to go? Who are you when you're with this person, and do you like that? And if you don't like who you are when you're with them, that is for you to turn upon yourself and say, well, if I don't feel comfortable enough being myself with this individual, is it right for me to continue having interactions with this individual? Or do I need to take some space and some breathing time so that I can heal and get back to being the me that I know I have been capable of being or that I have been before. So by thinking about who you are with them allows you to really realize, like, am I my best and brightest self with you? Or am I trying to fit a mold of who you knew me to be back then? And that's not who I am right now. So letting people go is really about honoring yourself. It is about recognizing that this is not personal, this is energetic. Sometimes we have to break cycles. We have to break patterns of maybe victimization. Maybe you attract abusive partners emotionally or mentally. You know, I said I attract people who I allow to manipulate me because I have a big heart, and realizing that I'm not mean for letting someone go. I'm not a nice person. I'm not a bad person. And it's up to me to decide, like, who is in my life and how I want to be loved. So when you decide to take the keys to your life and unlock the door and allow some people to leave out of it, you also open up the window so that fresh new energy can come into it, so that healing can come into you. So I ask you, if you feel the energy of guilt or resentment around letting somebody go ahead and process that and see, like, okay, maybe I just feel guilty for not wanting to be your friend anymore. And that's not a crime. That means you care. That means you were invested. That means you love them. Maybe you're scared because it's like, well, if I don't have them, I don't know who I'm gonna have. And sometimes all you have is yourself for a little bit until somebody new comes into your life. So I just wanted to make this video to support you in having the conversations, taking the power back into your own hands, the power to determine who's allowed into your life, how they're allowed into your life, and being willing to stand up and be strong and say, I no longer want us to have interactions for my own mental health, my own well-being. If you are feeling anxiety around people, they literally have you walking on eggshells. That dis-ease is going to enter into the rest of your life and permeate everything about you. So I just encourage you to spend some time in quiet meditation and think about what you really want, and then not be afraid to go and get it. I've been making cuts in my life, and I feel very like I'm in uncharted new territory. But by being honest with myself and being authentic with my true heart's desires and my wishes, I know that I am making space for great new things to enter my life. And I wish the same for you. And sometimes you just need a little bit of spiritual support. So here it is. I love you. I support your journey. And keep in mind that if you have not learned the lessons, you will continue to attract people who do that same thing. So I encourage you to really look deep into those lessons, look deep into yourself, and see why you attracted what you attracted, and how you can now take that information, hold it inside, grow with it, and then become a bigger and brighter version of yourself. Love you.